Here's a trivia question for you. Which company is the world's largest manufacturer of tyres? You know, those round black things on the side of cars. Pirelli perhaps? Bridgestone or Michelin? Goodyear? No, you'll never guess the answer. Well, you probably will actually, because it's in the title of this video. Anyway, it's Lego. Yep, Lego make hundreds of millions of tyres every year. Admittedly, they're slightly smaller tyres than their competitors are making, but it's still fairly impressive. Another thing Lego seem to make hundreds of millions of these days is video games, or at least stick their name on them. Pretty much every major franchise has a Lego game. Harry Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Die Hard, Mrs. Doubtfire. Okay, I may have made the last two up, but there's been a lot. And today we're going to take a quick look at the first Lego game that made its way to the PlayStation, Lego Racers. And what might be the content of said game, you might ask? And I know what you're expecting. You'll be thinking that you get to drive lots of Lego cars, perhaps build some of your own as well, racing on cool tracks against some quirky opponents, something like that. In reality, however, that's exactly right, you can do all of those things. What else was it going to be? I played this game quite a lot when I was little. I had tons of Lego and would quite often make my own Lego racetrack, so naturally when I found out there was a Lego racing game, I probably crapped myself with excitement. It's been a few years since I last played this. Actually, it's probably nearer to a few decades, so I'm looking forward to finding out if it's as much fun as I seem to remember. First of all, we're going to design our character. This is relatively simple, just choose which of the different heads, hats, shirts and trousers you want, and there you go. I've gone full cowboy. Yeehaw! Right, let's move on to making a car. You start off with just this base, and you plot bricks down one by one in the hope of creating something insanely cool. There's a massive toy box of bricks to choose from. Placing them down on the car can be a little tricky, and sometimes it's difficult to work out exactly where you're putting something, but you get the hang of it soon enough. There is an invisible limit on how tall and wide you can make your car. Eventually the game stops letting you place bricks when you reach a certain point. While it's a bit limiting, I suppose it's necessary to stop pillocks like me creating a ridiculously fat car that no one can get past, which was my initial plan. Here's my finished speed machine. It's a beauty. Adrian Newey would be proud of this design, I'm sure. Anyway, let's get it into a race. I'm going to take on the circuit mode, which is the main part of the game. You compete in a series of mini championships against a handful of other drivers, one of whom is the champion who you're trying to dethrone. Yarr, on the high seas or on land, you are no match for the great Captain Redbeard. So give it up, matey. Yarr har har. The racing itself follows the Super Mario Kart formula of easy handling and making use of power-ups to blast your way up the order, which are activated by the different coloured bricks on the track. Bombs were the big one for me. You send a high-powered explosive hurtling towards whoever is in front of you, blowing them to bits and causing their gruesome and untimely demise. Well, not quite like that, as it is a children's game, so instead they just get blasted slightly into the air, but it does give you a chance to nip past. Those are in the red bricks. In the yellow ones you can plop down an oil spill, causing anyone behind you to spin off, possibly into a sheer cliff face leading to a fiery explosion and their gruesome and untimely demise. Be careful though, as while it's fun to aggravate the AI, they can also get their revenge and aim bombs and oil spills at you. Luckily with the blue bricks you can fend them off by getting a shield that briefly makes you immune to their attacks. Then there's the green bricks, which give you a quick speed boost. Nice and simple. Finally there's the white bricks, which don't seem to do anything. You drive over them and nothing happens. But they are doing something. What these do is improve whatever power up you have, or what you pick up next. Grab a white brick followed by a red one for instance, and the bomb is upgraded to a grappling hook that pulls your opponent back and propels you ahead. Inevitably, one of the sharp points of the hook will spear through the other driver's chest, resulting in their gruesome and untimely demise. To be honest, killing off a few of your competitors would be a big help, because this game is surprisingly difficult. It's not impossible, or even unfairly tough, but don't expect to waltz through each race and win by half a lap. The AI is no slouch, especially their champion at each circuit. I mean, it has to be that the AI are quick, right? There's certainly no obvious aerodynamic issues with my car. Alongside the power-ups, there are some shortcuts you can make use of to try and beat these Lego Lewis Hamiltons. Timing your start correctly for a speed boost can also get you an early advantage, but ultimately you've still got to be on top form to get that victory. Even if you don't win the championship, which I didn't. If you did well enough, the game still lets you advance to the next one. There's 7 in total, each with their own speedy villain. And when you reach the end of the game, I'm sure something fascinating happens, but I haven't got that far yet. And that's pretty much the main game. There's a few other modes, like the single race and 2-player, which are fairly self-explanatory. There's a time mode too, where you race a ghost with the aim of setting the quickest lap times possible. New stuff gets unlocked as you go through the game, and there's more than enough tracks and drivers to race against to keep things interesting. As you progress, you can even get extra building blocks to spice up your own cars a bit. LEGO Racers is a great little game, and it does everything you'd want it to. I think a lot of people my age probably played this when they were younger, but if you haven't, it's worth trying out. And if you have, then perhaps fire it up once more. You'll feel 8 years old again, and forget all about your own possible impending gruesome and untimely demise.